Redemption.
Imagine, you're a director, you make a masterpiece, critics are thrilled, but at the box office, empty theaters. The Shawshank Redemption, #1 on IMDb. At the box office, made less than its budget. Fight Club, cult classic. At the box office, catastrophe. But time passes, and suddenly audiences say, wait, this is a masterpiece. Today we're breaking down films that flopped at the box office but became legends. But first, why is a film even considered a flop? When a studio spends $100 million on a film and makes back the same 100, they're in the red. Why? The budget only covers production. Marketing adds another $100 million on top. Theaters take half the revenue. Bottom line, a film needs to make 2 to 2.5 times its budget just to break even. Anything below that, a flop, even if the film is brilliant. And now we'll look at films where this math turned into a nightmare. The Thing, 1982. Budget, $15 million. Box office, 19. The main problem, release date. The film came out 2 weeks after Spielberg's The Extraterrestrial. Audiences had just seen a cute alien who wanted to go home. And Carpenter offered them paranoia, distrust, and body horror, where a monster literally tears bodies apart from the inside. Critics call the film disgusting. Audiences walked out of screenings. But on VHS, The Thing found new life. Today, it's the gold standard for practical effects and one of the most influential works in the horror genre. Carpenter later admitted the failure of The Thing almost destroyed his career. The irony is that this very failure made him a legend. Blade Runner, 1982. Budget, $28 million. Box office, $27.5. Marketing sold the film as a dynamic action movie in the vein of Star Wars. Harrison Ford, chases, the future, everything looked promising. But audiences got a slow noir with philosophical dialogue about soul, memory, and humanity. The public felt deceived and walked out of theaters. Today, it's the foundation of visual cyberpunk, the film that inspired The Matrix, games, and anime, a picture studied in film schools. Ridley Scott later said the film was too smart for its time. The Shawshank Redemption, 1994. Budget, $25 million. Box office, $20 million. There were several reasons. Strange title, no action, and catastrophic competition. The same year saw Forrest Gump and Pulp Fiction, which took all the attention. But the film was released on VHS and television. It was played again and again. People stumbled upon it by chance and stayed until the end. Today, it's the highest-rated film on IMDb and a symbol of hope. Director Darabont bought the rights to Stephen King's story for $1. And later, King sent him a check for $5,000 in a beautiful frame. Fight Club, 1999. Budget, $63 million. Box office, $37. Fox Studio didn't know how to sell it. Harsh satire on consumer society? Philosophy of non-conformism? No, let's show fights. They ran ads during wrestling, positioned it as an action movie about men brawling. Result? The intellectual crowd ignored the brawl. Teenagers came for fights but didn't understand the philosophy. The DVD release saved the film, where you could think it through. And then it began. Fight Club became the anthem of a generation. Tyler Durden, an icon. Quotes turned into memes. The film was smarter than its time and its own producers. The Big Lebowski, 1998. Budget, $15 million. US box office, only $17 million. Technically a flop. After Fargo, people expected another tense crime plot from the Coen brothers. Instead, they got a film where the plot doesn't matter at all. The hero doesn't investigate a kidnapping, he wants to get his rug back, drinks White Russians, bowls. Audiences expected a detective story, got a philosophy of indifference. But through DVD and rewatches, it began. Quotes, memes, festivals, dudism, a real religion based on the dude's philosophy. Today it's the most quoted film of the 90s. The Iron Giant, 1999. Budget, $70 million. Box office, $23. Complete catastrophe. Warner Brothers Studio simply didn't advertise the film at all. They got burned on the failure of their previous cartoon and decided not to spend on marketing the giant. Trailers came out late, no toys were released, people simply didn't know the film existed. But this is a masterpiece, a piercing story about the friendship between a boy and a robot. The phrase, "you are who you choose to be," became legendary. Now it's an animation classic on par with Disney's best works. A film that lost at the box office but won hearts. Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, 1998. Budget, $18.5 million. Box office, $10.6. The film is pure gonzo trip. No morality, no structure, no desire to be comfortable. 90s audiences considered it druggy nonsense. Critics trashed it for chaos and lack of plot. But that's exactly what director Terry Gilliam was going for. He didn't adapt Hunter Thompson's book, he reproduced The State. Johnny Depp and Benicio del Toro delivered genius performances. The film became a quote book, became mandatory for all rebels and free thinkers. Flop at the box office? Yes. Cult classic? Absolutely. Children of Men, 2006. Budget, $76 million. Box office, $70. Technically a loss. The film came out during Christmas, the worst possible timing. Audiences came for holiday cheer and hope. Instead, they got a dirty, anxious future London and the feeling of civilization's end. Marketing couldn't explain why to watch it. Too dark, too realistic, too painful. But Alfonso Cuarón made a dystopia that doesn't age. No aliens, no lasers, just a world where humanity stopped having children. Today, it's one of the most piercing science fiction films in history. Watchmen, 2009. Budget, $130 million. Box office, $185 million. For such scale and expectations, a flop. The reason is simple. The film came out too early, before the Marvel era, before the Avengers, before audiences got used to complex superhero stories. Zack Snyder deconstructed the superhero genre when audiences still expected simple stories about good versus evil. The film was dark, heavy, and adult. The R rating cut off part of the audience. But today, Watchmen is called one of the best comic book movies in history, a film that was ahead of its time. Film history proves one thing: box office is temporary. Cult status is forever. The boldest, most unusual, most sincere films often flop because they don't fit the conveyor belt. Perhaps right now, in an empty theater, a future masterpiece is playing, one the world will appreciate in 10 years. Don't be afraid to give box office losers a chance. That's often where the gold is hiding. What's your favorite failed film? Write in the comments. Like if you learned something new. Subscribe so you don't miss the next video.